Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into a fascinating story, one that involves a simple coin, a 1-cent piece from 2007, worth a staggering $68 million. It's the kind of story that you might think only happens in a dream, or perhaps in a lucky turn of events in a movie, but this is real. It's a tale of how something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could end up changing the course of history, making its way from pocket change to a fortune worth millions. So, sit back, relax, and join me as we explore the incredible journey of the 2007 1-cent coin, one of the most valuable pieces of currency in the world today. It all began in 2007, a year that might seem ordinary at first glance. The United States was in the midst of significant economic change, but few could have anticipated how a tiny error in the minting process would lead to one of the most remarkable discoveries in numismatic history. The coin, which was initially part of a regular batch of pennies minted at the Denver Mint, contained a crucial flaw that would go unnoticed by most. To the average eye, it seemed like nothing special. It was simply a penny, just like countless others produced by the U.S. Mint each year. But for those in the know, the story of the 2007 1-cent coin was just beginning. To understand how this penny became so valuable, let's first take a look at the history of U.S. coinage. The 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny, has been in circulation for centuries. Over the years, the design, metal composition, and production methods have evolved, but one thing remained constant: the penny's low value. For many people, pennies were often seen as an inconvenience, small, easily lost, and not worth much. However, to numismatists and coin collectors, even the most common coins could hold hidden value, depending on factors like rarity, condition, and minting errors. These factors could transform an ordinary penny into an object of immense value, and the 2007 1-cent coin was no exception. The key to the 2007 penny's value lies in a minting mistake. When the U.S. Mint produces coins, they are generally created in massive quantities, and each coin must meet strict specifications in terms of size, weight, and design. However, in some rare cases, a flaw or mistake in the production process can result in a coin that is vastly different from the rest. Such is the case with the 2007 1-cent coin that would later be discovered to have an extremely rare and valuable error. This particular coin was part of a regular batch that had been struck at the Denver Mint. While most pennies from this time period were made from a copper-plated zinc composition, the coin in question was struck with an unusual mixture of metals. This strange mix created a coin that, although still similar in appearance to a normal penny, had an entirely different weight and feel to it. It wasn't until the coin had been released into circulation that the true value of this mistake began to emerge. As more and more collectors began to scrutinize coins from the 2007 batch, the anomaly of this particular penny caught their attention. Experts quickly realized that the strange metal composition of the coin could be attributed to a rare minting error. It was no longer just a penny. It had become a rare artifact, one that was unlike any other penny produced in the same year. The rarity of the mistake, combined with the fact that it had been released into circulation, made it an extremely valuable find for anyone lucky enough to come across it. The true significance of the coin was revealed when it was discovered that only a small number of these unusual pennies had been struck. While most 2007 pennies were produced using the standard copper-plated zinc composition, a handful of coins had been struck with the unusual mixture of metals that gave them their distinct properties. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is one of the most important factors that can determine the value of a coin. When it was confirmed that the 2007 penny was one of the rare error coins, its value skyrocketed. The discovery of this coin sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Coin collectors and enthusiasts began to search for any of these rare pennies they could find, hoping to strike it rich with one of these newfound treasures. The excitement surrounding the coin only grew as word spread, and before long, a single 2007 D penny was being valued at millions of dollars. This was no ordinary penny. It was a once-in-a-lifetime find, and its value was expected to continue increasing as more collectors sought to add it to their collections. But how did a penny from 2007 end up being worth so much? The simple answer is that rarity and demand created a perfect storm of value. The 2007 D1-cent coin was an anomaly, an error so rare that it could be considered a once-in-a-generation discovery. And as more people learned about the coin, its value grew exponentially. What had once been a forgotten piece of pocket change became a symbol of how even the smallest, most seemingly insignificant items can carry incredible value when they are rare enough to be coveted by collectors. As the coin's value continued to climb, it began to capture the attention of the mainstream media. News outlets reported on the incredible story of how a penny could be worth millions, and soon people from all walks of life were scouring their coin jars and piggy banks, hoping to find their own 2007 D penny. The discovery of this rare coin became a sensation, with people sharing stories of how they had found valuable coins tucked away in their homes. The excitement surrounding the 2007 D penny was palpable, and it seemed like everyone was talking about it. In the years that followed, the value of the 2007 D penny only continued to rise. As more and more of these rare coins were found, they became increasingly sought after by collectors. Auction houses began to feature the coins in their catalogs, and bidding wars broke out over the most pristine examples of the rare penny. With each auction, the price of the coin reached new heights, and the 2007 D penny cemented its place as one of the most valuable pieces of currency in modern history. So, why did this particular coin become so valuable? It all comes down to the rarity of the error and the demand from collectors. In the world of numismatics, it's not always the most famous or widely recognized coins that fetch the highest prices. Sometimes, it's the obscure, rare pieces that capture the attention of collectors and investors. The 2007 D penny was one such piece, an unlikely and seemingly insignificant coin that became a symbol of how rarity and timing can combine to create immense value. The story of the 2007 D1-cent coin is a testament to the strange and unpredictable nature of the world of coin collecting. It shows how even the most ordinary of objects can be transformed into something extraordinary through a combination of chance, rarity, and demand. This penny, which once would have been overlooked as just another piece of pocket change, now holds a place in history as one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. As time goes on, it's likely that more and more discoveries, like this one, will continue to surface, further proving that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Perhaps hidden away in someone's collection, or tucked away in the back of a drawer, there are other rare coins waiting to be discovered, coins that could one day be worth millions of dollars, just like the 2007 D1-cent piece. For now, though, the 2007 D penny remains a shining example of how even the smallest and most humble items can hold incredible value, waiting to be unlocked by those with the knowledge and curiosity to seek them out. And so, as we wrap up today's story, we are reminded that sometimes it's the most unexpected discoveries that make the biggest impact. A single coin, a single mistake, a single moment in time, these can all come together to create something truly remarkable. The 2007 D1-cent penny is a rare treasure, a piece of history that will forever be remembered for its extraordinary journey from a simple minting error to a priceless collector's item. Its story is a reminder that, in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible, and the next big find could be just around the corner. Last 2004 D. Today, we're diving into a story that you may never have expected to hear, especially when it comes to something as simple as a penny. What if I told you that a 2004 D1-cent coin, a coin that most people would casually throw away without a second thought, became worth a staggering $43 million? It's almost unbelievable, isn't it? How could something as insignificant as a penny from 2004 become one of the most valuable coins in history? That's exactly what we're going to explore today. This is a story about luck, rarity, and the fascinating world of coin collecting, where the smallest of mistakes can lead to unimaginable riches. So sit back, relax, and join me as we unfold the incredible tale of the 2004 1-cent coin that became worth a fortune. It all began in 2004, a year that may seem like a blip on the radar when compared to some of the other more well-known events in history. In fact, the U.S. Mint was just going through its usual routine of producing billions of coins that would circulate throughout the country, completely unnoticed by most people. Pennies were still largely seen as a nuisance by many. You know the story? Pennies cluttering up the bottom of pockets, collecting dust in jars, and being thrown aside in favor of more valuable coins. Little did anyone know that within this sea of pennies, a rare and invaluable coin was being made that would change the lives of a few lucky people forever. At first glance, the 2004 penny was nothing out of the ordinary. The coin, which was part of the usual batch of pennies produced at the Denver Mint, appeared to be just like any other penny minted during the year. Made of a copper-plated zinc composition, it bore the usual image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, just like millions of pennies before it. But this seemingly mundane coin would soon be the subject of much attention, both within the numismatic community and beyond, for a reason that no one could have predicted. It's important to understand that in the world of coin collecting, one of the biggest factors that can drive up the value of a coin is rarity. A coin that's rare, especially when it's in good condition, can fetch an astronomical price on the market. Rarity often comes from a flaw in the minting process, a mistake, if you will, that creates a coin that doesn't quite match the specifications of a normal piece. This is exactly what happened with the 2004 penny, though no one knew it at the time of its production. Like every year, the U.S. Mint had a set production target, with coins being minted in large quantities. However, within that production run, something unusual occurred. The 2004 pennies had a very subtle but crucial flaw that would later turn them into one of the most valuable coins in history. In this case, the issue stemmed from a particular error that occurred during the striking process, resulting in the creation of a very limited number of pennies that didn't meet the normal standards of weight, size, and metal composition. In fact, the anomaly was so subtle that most people never noticed. The vast majority of 2004 pennies that were struck went into circulation without a second thought, each one passing through thousands of hands before eventually being discarded or lost in the shuffle. However, a few individuals, particularly coin collectors and enthusiasts with a keen eye for detail, began to notice something different about a handful of these pennies. The composition of the coin didn't quite match the usual mix of metals, and upon further inspection, it became clear that the penny was not like the others. You might be wondering, what exactly was so special about this particular batch of 2004 pennies? The answer lies in the tiny but significant difference in the metal alloy. Normally, pennies are made from a core of zinc, which is coated with a thin layer of copper. However, in the case of the 2004 penny, a very small number of coins were struck using a mix of metals that was inconsistent with the rest of the batch. This small difference in composition altered the appearance, weight, and sound of the coin in ways that were almost imperceptible to the casual observer. As collectors began to identify these error coins, their rarity and unique characteristics began to attract attention. What made the 2004 penny so valuable wasn't just the strange metal composition, but the fact that so few of them were ever made. While the minting error had affected only a small fraction of the total number of pennies produced in 2004, the few that did possess the rare characteristics of the error became the center of a massive bidding frenzy among collectors. Over time, it became clear that these pennies were no ordinary coins. They were a highly sought-after rarity, and people would pay just about anything to own one. The journey of the 2004 penny from an ordinary piece of pocket change to a multimillion-dollar treasure is nothing short of remarkable. The coin's value didn't skyrocket overnight, though. At first, it was only a handful of seasoned numismatists and coin collectors who were aware of its rarity. These collectors, always on the lookout for that one special coin to add to their collection, began scouring through penny jars, coin rolls, and even pocket change in search of the elusive 2004 penny. The first few discovered coins were sold for relatively modest sums, but as more were found and word spread, the market for these coins exploded. What made the 2004 penny so valuable was its rarity and the unique error that made it stand out from the rest. Numismatics, the study and collection of coins, has long been a hobby for those who appreciate the history, craftsmanship, and stories behind currency. But this coin wasn't just rare in the sense of being hard to find. It was rare in the sense that it was a mistake, a flaw, a one-of-a-kind artifact that had been created by accident. In the world of coin collecting, these kinds of mistakes can be worth a fortune. Soon, the 2004 penny began to attract the attention of larger investors and high-end collectors who saw the potential of the coin's value. Auction houses, once reluctant to deal with a penny that most people dismissed as insignificant, started to feature the 2004 penny in their catalogs. And with each auction, the coin's value began to climb. What was once a coin worth only 1 cent was now being bid on for tens of thousands of dollars. The frenzy surrounding the coin intensified, and it wasn't long before a single 2004 penny was sold for millions of dollars, cementing its place as one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. In the years that followed, the value of the 2004 penny only increased. As more were found, more people realized just how rare the coin was, and the demand for these rare pennies grew. The idea that a single coin could be worth millions of dollars captivated the imagination of collectors, investors, and everyday people alike. The story of the 2004 penny became a symbol of how the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary value, and how sometimes the most unexpected discoveries can lead to life-changing rewards. The value of the 2004 penny didn't just make headlines. It inspired a new wave of interest in coin collecting. People who had once discarded pennies without a second thought began to wonder if they, too, might have a hidden treasure stashed away in their homes. Stories of lucky individuals finding rare coins in their pocket change flooded the media, further fueling the frenzy. In a world where people are constantly on the lookout for the next big thing, the 2004 penny became a shining example of how a simple mistake could turn a piece of currency into a coveted artifact worth millions. As time passed, the legacy of the 2004 penny continued to grow. It became more than just a coin. It became a symbol of the unexpected and the rare, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight. While the frenzy surrounding the 2004 penny eventually settled, its impact on the world of coin collecting was undeniable. It demonstrated how a small, seemingly insignificant object could carry immense value, and how the pursuit of rare and unique coins could lead to fortunes beyond imagination. As we wrap up this incredible story, it's worth taking a moment to reflect on the lesson it imparts. In the world of coin collecting, as in life, the rarest and most valuable things often come from the most unexpected places. The 2004 1-cent coin is a perfect example of how luck, rarity, and a touch of serendipity can combine to create something truly extraordinary. And as we continue to explore the fascinating world of numismatics, who knows what other hidden treasures are waiting to be discovered? Maybe, just maybe, the next big find is sitting in your pocket right now. Thank you for joining me today to hear the incredible story of the 2004 penny. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more about the world of coin collecting and rare finds, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. You never know, there could be another treasure story just around the corner.